we're going to do this in class, but I wanted to provide a video up front in case it's easier to watch this on your screen at home rather than watching me real time. So I want to run you through 3 small exercises in a spreadsheet environment. This is going to be available to you in Blackboard, and I'll show you how to access it. The first exercise is going to be summing these numbers. And when we have numbers in a spreadsheet, it's really important to recognize that the spreadsheet is the tool that's going to help us do the math. I really want to emphasize that you don't have to be good at math in a spreadsheet. You just have to be somewhat logical and analytical and patient in your approach. So we have a series of numbers, and these are some of the items from our budget exercise this past week. And let's say that I want to sum these numbers. Well, what I can do is I can use the equal sign, and the equal sign is telling a spreadsheet, whether you're in Google Sheets or Excel, that you want to make a computation. And then I have 2 options here. I can click on each of these cells with my mouse and use the plus sign over and over again. And I'll just do that real quick like this. You can see it's taking me a bit of time, and I'm multitasking as I'm talking, but I did it, and it summed up to 375. So that's one approach. But you can also do the following. You can do equals sum, open parentheses, and then you can simply grab on these cells using your mouse, close parentheses, and you get to the same result. So we're going to run through this exercise. Exercise 2, I want you to be thinking about percent of total. Now, summing numbers to get to a total, that is very straightforward, I think. This is something that we probably do in most of our life with respect to maybe totaling a bill or maybe thinking about how much we're spending on various items. But percentage of total is to see, okay, if we were to compare all of these items as a percentage of the whole, then how do they compare? And the way we can do this is we do, again, the equal sign, and I can, again, click on the item, click on the cell, I should say, and then I'm going to use the /. Okay, so this is the /, and then I'm going to choose 375. Now you're seeing Google. You might be noticing Google is guessing what I'm trying to do here, and that's just the spreadsheet being a little bit intuitive. I do want you to get into the practice of actually clicking on these cells. You can hit enter. Now I get this long decimal precision number, and what I want you to do is immediately come up here and format it as percent, because that's going to give you the ability to easily see your data and be able to read it more easily. Now what I also can do, I don't need to really worry about 2 decimal precision here, so I'm actually going to lower the decimals, and there I go. Now I can do this over and over again, where I just do that divided by that number. And I can also do percentage, and this will be perfectly acceptable if you want to repeat it over and over. I will show there is a little bit of a shortcut. What you can do is you can drag this formula down. Now it's not going to work unless I fix something, but I do want to show you the effect of dragging down. I get this formula that drags down here. Now what's happening here, the reason why I'm getting this nasty looking error, and I say nasty looking, I'm so used to this, it doesn't really bother me, but it might bother someone who's new to it. The reason why this is an issue is I'm trying to divide this cell by this cell. Now the spreadsheet intuitively saw me drag down, so it lowered or brought down the references in my formula. So whereas this cell, which is properly formatted, is dividing the 20 by the 375, so that's a proper mathematical calculation. Down here, it's taking the 30, which I want, but it's dividing it by this empty cell. So what I need to do is I basically want to tell the Excel or the spreadsheet that I want to lock this 375 reference in place. And what I can do is I can put a $ in front of the C and also in front of the 14. That will lock in my reference, and now let me delete these out because I want to show you the effect here. Now if I drag this down, I get these nice percentages just kind of like going down, and you can see each cell is taking the percentage of the total. I can even copy it down to here, and you'll see I get 100%, which is a nice little proof of that calculation. Okay, finally, year-on-year change. So this is going to be important as well as we look at budgets. What we want to be able to do, in addition to seeing the percentage of a total, which some of you created bar charts. So some of you created pie charts, and it created an automatic percentage of total. So I'm really just showing you how to build up the percentage of the total from the starting data set. Now let's look at if we have a year-on-year change. So budgets will present information in typically a 2-year format. So what we're going to want to be able to do is see what's the difference between, for instance, 2023 minus 2022. Now you can see what I'm doing. I'm just clicking on these cells and then I'm using the minus sign on the keyboard for the difference. Now I'm going to drag this down and I get my differences, and then the percentage change, what this is going to be is simply the difference divided by my base year of 2022. Okay, so, and I want you to think I'm using small, simple numbers here in part to help you kind of wrangle the technology, okay, which might be, I'm going to go through the formula in a second, but I'm throwing formulas at you, but I'm also introducing these analytics, which are important analytics for sort of analysis purposes. So, for instance, when we go to 2022 to 2023, there's a $2 increase here. And we want to be able to just simply see that it grew by $2. This is going to be important as you look at year-on-year changes. Now, if we wanted to see, well, what's the percentage change of $2 off of a 98 base year, so or $98 original value, meaning it was $98, it grew by 2. What's the percentage change there? Well, what I can do is I can say equals the difference, so the 2, and I'm going to divide it by the 98. And what I get here, again, I'm going to come up here, do the percentage. I'm going to remove my decimals because I'm not so concerned about the decimal precision. And it's a 2% change, which makes sense, right? Like $2 on 98 is about 2%. And I'm doing this math pretty quickly in my head. I'm used to using these kinds of analytics. I want to encourage you all, think about when you're in the grocery store aisle or the pharmacy aisle and you're computing the sales tax. That's the kind of mental math you want to be thinking through. Again, you don't need to be mentally thinking through the exact dollars. The Excel will do that for you. It's the logic really that's important here. I'm going to drag this formula down. The formula kind of, Excel is able to grab each cell reference, and we now get some new information that wasn't really readily available. Like for instance, notice we had a big 20% change in other operations, 29% change in capital improvements. Now, if we were to eyeball this, we could see, well, yeah, there's a $31 to $40 jump, so okay, that jumped. But we're seeing here in this column, the capital improvements actually changed proportionally more than any other item, meaning no other item had as large an increase, going from the base of, for instance, 31 up by 9 to 40. This is not the only analysis that we would want to sort of bring into this. We would want to additionally, look at the base year. So for instance, let's imagine so this is this is another way we can think about using our data and drawing analytic sort of inferences from it. Now, finally, another thing I'll just point out here is we can pull in our skills from the previous exercise. We're going to sum these up. And what I can do is I can even drag this over like that. And I get a difference there. And I could even take the logic here. So let me show you another trick. I can take the logic here, which is I am subtracting column D from column C. And over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the percentage change. I can copy these two cells using Control C, bring my cursor down to this cell, and I'll do Control V. And the logic gets copied, and now I have both an aggregate analytic and also the detailed analytics. So we're going to do this, I'm going to try this in class today. We'll see how it goes. I wanted to provide the video in advance in case it was helpful. It will be an assignment that I'll look at. I want to push you all to kind of be doing these exercises and feel comfortable, not only just being in the spreadsheet, but also being in touch with me with questions. Okay? Thanks.